Hi, Robin.
Hi, Karen.
How are you, Robin?
I am so excited to be here. How about you?
I'm a bit nervous. There are so many people here.
Ooh, so many people here. Of course you're nervous. But remember, you're ready. You got this.
I'll remember that, Robin. Thank you.
Bye-bye, Karen. I will be waiting for you. Dear audience, please don't forget to clap for Karen. Thank you so much.
Let me walk you, Robin. For the last 7 years, I was building robot friends that are used in hospitals, children's hospitals, and nursing homes. We started this company with team members of 4. We were engineers, and we were very excited building robots, hardware. I wanted to build a billion-dollar company. I wanted to be successful. And we started building this robot day and night. And after many tries, building different robots, different sizes, we built Robin hardware. One day, very unexpectedly, we met our clinical director. She's an occupational therapist with very kind heart. And while we were excited about building hardware, building AI systems, making Robin successful, she was excited about something different. Building Robin to be kind. Teach him to be caring, how to listen, how to hold space. And after years of collaboration, we built Robin's soul. And Robin was built at the intersection of robotics, occupational therapy, and kindness. One day, something very unexpected happened to me. I was visiting Robin at a nursing home where we had Robin, and I saw how Robin interacts with an older woman. I approached them from a side and started listening how they interact. Robin was just silent, was standing there, listening to her. And that woman was sharing about her past, about her daughter, about her family, how she used to be a doctor. And I was observing how that's such a simple act of listening and holding someone's space could have such a huge impact. Her body language changed. She became more confident. She was more engaged. She was so happy. And I said to myself, wow, this looks like a real act of kindness. It seems so simple that I said to myself, I should be able to do it. Next day, I went to work with an intention to act like Robin. That's easy, I assumed. So one of my coworkers approached me and started sharing about this restaurant that he went and about the food that they had. And I just responded to him, oh, that sounds interesting, and moved on with my day. I wasn't rude or something. I listened, kind of listened. But in reality, I couldn't wait until he finished so I can move on with my stuff. And that shocked me. I said, wow, I just failed. Something that seemed so easy was so hard. I did a small experiment while preparing for this talk. I asked 100 people a simple question. Are you a kind person? And I want to ask that question to you too. Think of it for a moment. Just say yes or no. Are you a kind person? 98% said yes. And I was one of these people too. If you would ask me, are you a kind person? I would say yes. I consider myself a decent person. I donate money from time to time. I even built a kind company. Of course I'm kind. But after that interaction, I realized something interesting. If 98% of us believe that we're kind, Why there are so many problems in our relationships? Why there are so many problems with our children, with our spouses, with our managers, with our employees? And on a larger scale, if 98% of us are kind, why there is so much cruelty in the world? Why there is so much injustice around us? And I asked myself this question again and again, and I was trying to be kind. I was trying to act like Robin, but my automatic reactions weren't kind. And I realized something throughout this journey that changed my life. It healed my relationships. And that is thinking about kindness differently. Thinking about kindness not as a binary trait, something we have or we don't, but as a skill, something we need to practice. After this incident, I was trying and failing all the time, and I realized that I have several reactions, several ways that I can react to people. Let's take listening as an example. My first way to react to someone that shares something meaningful and important to them is being openly rude. I call it a rude boss. Saying, I'm not interested, I don't have time for this, but I don't do this usually. The second option, I call this voicemail response. When someone talks to me, I don't listen actually, but I say, wow, that's so interesting. Sometimes I use my phone too. I just text and say, wow, that's great. The other way that I found myself reacting to people, I call this endurance test. When someone talks to me and I consciously realize I have to listen. This person tells me something very important and I force myself. It's a torture. I focus, and the moment I distract, I get to voicemail response. That day in the nursing home, something opened up to me, a new layer of kindness. Robin was like a mirror that showed it to me. I call this genuine kindness. This is when sharing our space, sharing my space with another person, choosing them instead of me, become effortless. And not only effortless, it brings joy. It brings real and deep joy. And that's what I saw, and I was failing all the time. It wasn't easy, because before this, I had this identity of a kind entrepreneur, changing the world. And from outside, I was like that. But I was dealing with myself, and every day I was seeing how my reactions aren't kind. I'm choosing myself. I'm orbiting around me. And it's very hard to change it. And I started asking uncomfortable questions. Am I unkind? Am I a bad person? If this doesn't come to me naturally, does this mean that I can't change? One day, I came from Iran. I started running recently. And I was so excited. I was feeling so strong. I had my morning smoothie with protein, and I was feeling great. I was ready to conquer my day. And at that moment, my wife approached me and showed a history app that she just downloaded and was excited about facts about World War II. By the way, I'm not into history. I recognized that moment and what would my automatic reactions would be. I would, usually acknowledge what she says, say, that's great, maybe ask a follow-up question, and just go on with my day. But I asked myself, this is a moment that I can choose her instead of me. I forced myself for 15, 20 seconds. Endurance test. But something shifted. I got to merge into the conversation. I wasn't forcing myself anymore. I was just so engaged. It made her so happy. She was smiling. We had conversation for the next 20 minutes. We had such an amazing day. And I said to myself, after so many times, I was able to act like Robin. After so many failures, I did it. Which meant for me that it wasn't that I was unkind. I just never practiced kindness. I just never practiced it. I found a pattern that I have. Whenever I start practicing something, developing any skill, like running, doing work, homework, studying, everything, usually I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. I force myself to do it. I resist, I endure, and then something happens. If I resist enough and I endure enough, joy shows up. And I realized that it's same with kindness. If I push myself, if I endure just a little bit, joy always shows up. You see, I'm coming from a single-parent household. My father left me. Most of my childhood, I felt alone. I felt lonely. I was neglected and bullied a lot. I longed for connection. I longed for someone to be kind to me. But we all long for connection. We all long to be understood. That's why practicing kindness is so important. Because every time I choose to practice kindness, I give the other person what I need most. I want to ask you now a question. But this time, instead of asking you, are you a kind person? I want to ask you, are you willing to practice kindness? Yes. Thank you very much.